Gotham City Sirens versus Punchline number 3. It's just Gotham City Sirens, but based on what's happening, it feels like it should be called that. We've been covering the 4-issue miniseries written by Leah Williams that marks the return of a long-running story starring the Sirens, who debuted as a concept in comic form under Paul Dini in 2009. Yes, it's a mini, but it's the longest-running thing they've been in for a long time recording. If you missed the first 2 videos, I'll link them down below. Since we're close to the time of release, spoilers. Also, side note, I went and I got a Punchline style wig. How do we feel about it? This one bang is not doing what it should be doing, but overall I like it. Next time for the finale, we'll put it in a ponytail. Overall, thus far, the vibe of the series has been fun, but it's very much been of the turn your brain off variety, in terms specifically of connective tissue and character motivations. Does issue 3 change things? I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and let's find out. Cliff notes, plot summary, thus far speedrun. Punchline is running some sort of dangerous game, deadly game, online, real-world, first-person shooter. Lots of games in that sentence. She has an energy drink that people get addicted to that infuses people with nanotech, so they can be used as avatars in her game. Don't play a drinking game with how many times the word game is gonna come up in this video. She kidnapped White Rabbit, or half of White Rabbit, the White Rabbit half, for this purpose, to be used in the game. The Sirens found out about this, seemingly by coincidence, Harley encountering a game running out of bounds in the real world, and Catwoman seeing Jaina/White Rabbit, part of her get kidnapped, and saving the Jaina half. Pamela was already looking into all of this, and Catwoman seemed to be as well, feeling that it's all connected. But the story never went into why they thought that or why they were looking into it in the first place. They just started off from that point. Last time we were with the Sirens, they had hijacked a shipment truck and they were heading to the EXO compound, Punchline's headquarters, and they were quickly gassed and captured. Issue 3 time. Firstly, Matteo Lolli is back on art. Last issue was Daniel Hilliard, and there was a difference in between the two. After seeing both styles, Lolli's does seem to fit a bit better with the tone of the story. There's more variety in the faces, and there's also a bit more cake present, and it's clear that Williams has infused some of that into the story because some of the jokes are reliant on it, be they written or visual. This issue does not open where the last left off, but rather with an info dump. This from the EXO and trigger warning mascot, Pippi. There's one less P there than Pippi normally has, so maybe it's supposed to be pronounced Pee-Pee, but I'm gonna go with Pippi.
Hi there, I'm Pippi. Welcome to the Trigger Warning Game Compound, where we not only set the game, but manufacture and distribute EXO Punch, trademark too. Yeehaw! Trigger Warning is the world's only first-person shooter game using living targets. But Pippi, you might be thinking, how is this possible? Isn't that murder? Yes, it is, because we care about our players, and the only way to deliver a realistic game experience is to make it real. But don't worry, no one and nothing stays dead.
Except for those guys that Harley fed to the Ivy's plants, apparently. Maybe the nano's good enough to reconstitute them, otherwise they're dead. And according to this, they were just people who were brainwashed because of the drink. This is our big explanation for how everything works. And it's pretty solid.
The way it works is simple. Our energy juice blend, EXO Punch, TM, contains nanotechnology along with our patented special sauce to get people addicted to the drink, all while prepping their bodies for our mind control. All around the Gotham County area, people have been getting addicted to EXO Punch, TM, and then self-reporting to our headquarters for processing.
Phrasing, don't think I didn't notice the self-report there.
Once processed, people enter the game as shootable targets or controllable avatars, and the very same EXO Punch, TM, already inside them helps revive them when shot, or return them to the compound for more extensive repairs.
They're probably avoiding it because it would be a bit too dark, but there are a lot of adults here when these crazes usually target and more successful with young adults, teenagers, and children. There should be more kids here. However, that would be very dark, even if they do get repaired. Maybe that's a bridge too far. We have to have some couth. There are parts of this explanation that veer into very on the nose, as this is a video meant to be being shown to guests and patrons, and it's basically saying, you're murderers and you love it. But on the whole, it very effectively explains what's been going on with Punchline in terms of the how. It answers the questions that were introduced, even if not overtly, in the first 2 issues. We also get the why. Punchline, as always, has large ambitions. She's looking to take her mind control nanotech global, and for that she needs money, the funds. Hence the whole gaming elite tier sub plan. She needs simps, basically. We need everything to go perfectly. No surprises today. These idiots have more money than sense, and we're going to need that money for EXO Punch, trademark, to get a global distribution deal. Don't worry, boss. It's all under control. We're making sure our other guests won't be disruptive as we speak. You do have to do a bit of suspending for this. This is getting pretty large. Perhaps some heroes should take note. I know they might be busy, but the idea that they're not taking Punchline seriously can only go so far. But never fear, the Sirens are here. They were all in a cell at the end of last issue, along with Jaina, who is not there anymore. They're being sweated out with heat lamps. Punchline's trying to taunt them into drinking the EXO Punch. Put a pin in this. I'd rather taste test A shotgun? None of the Sirens mention Jaina not being there, and things are about to get a tiny bit confusing, at least to me. Let me know if you had a similar experience. Punchline is hosting an event for these elites, and White Rabbit is seen serving drinks, but she's all trembly and fighting the control. Also, apparently Punchline offers hunts of endangered game. She has all the things. I guess you gotta spend money to make money. Now, while all of this is going on, we see White Rabbit crack. And then we're back in the cell with the Sirens. They're wasting away. It's going really badly for them when suddenly the cell bursts open and a huge, roided out, strong White Rabbit busts down the wall. White Rabbit? Come on, we got a boogie. How'd you free yourself of the exo thrall? You know how I have a unique physiology? Clone myself and all. Well, meet Dumb Bunny.
Hi.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Put Dumb Bunny in a corner for a minute. Nobody puts Baby in a corner, but we'll put Dumb Bunny in a corner. Let's leave the "is this how White Rabbit's powers work" to the corner for a moment, because White Rabbit's powers being kind of up in the air and changed is something that's been going on with the character for a while. That's not really where most of the poor construction of this scene comes in. So firstly, Jaina was with them, but then she wasn't, but no mention was made of where she went. There's a lot left for the reader to infer. Are we meant to infer that Punchline took Jaina and injected her, and then she was the one serving drinks to the elites? If so, why no dialogue mentioning that she was taken, or taunting from the guards, or at the very least some visual cueing? Now, while some may deem it problematic, it is part of Jaina's character that she is of a darker complexion than White Rabbit, something that was shown in the first two issues as well. There's a very clear visual distinction between the two. It helps you know which is which. So why does she not look like that now? Which one of these is Jaina? Because of this, you can ask the question, is this meant to be the other White Rabbit, the one who was captured and she's broken out and she's turned Jaina into this big hulking White Rabbit? Or has she created a third clone? Because there are so many things not explained, you can ask these questions. Now, based on past depictions, White Rabbit can operate entirely independently of Jaina. They're essentially two different people, but this is only something one would know if they were familiar with White Rabbit in past iterations. But even with that in play, there are still questions based on what's been explained inside this mini. Dumb Bunny. Dumb Bunny is another play on reclaiming derogatory female language in a comedic fashion, like whore in the last issue. Mileage varies. There should be some kind of visual cueing with Dumb Bunny to make it clear which one she is. Now, as mentioned, there are some context cues here, sort of. Punchline said in issue 2 that White Rabbit was being kept for the elite tier subs, but it wasn't specified what for. Was it for in the game or just to walk around? Because again, this opens up the question. So based on that, one could assume, despite it not looking like Jaina, that it would make sense for Jaina to be the one serving the drinks. And it would, because otherwise when did this other Dumb Bunny hulk out, and why wasn't it noticed if it happened at the event? Although again, maybe the event ended and it happened later, because there's no clear demarking of how much time is passing and what and when. We're also just meant to go with the idea that she can just Hulk out the alternate version, even though that's something that has not been shown before. If they look exactly the same now, does this mean that the aesthetic was all a choice? If so, that's something to be explored. Or again, is this a third one? I mean, it could be. The rules haven't been established. The rules don't need to be entirely logical, but they do need to be consistent. I don't think we are meant to think of any of this, but just laugh and oogle Dumb Bunny. But I can't. I'm not built that way. Overthinking things is my default state. I guess that's going to be issue 4's problem, maybe. They could still explain it because this issue did explain a lot of the questions that were asked in the first two. So we live in hope. The rest of the issue is them breaking out. Some action beats, Ivy controlling plants, Dumb Bunny smash, Harley hammer, Catwoman has some nice horse scenes. However, the art does get very sketch-like in this section at points. Hey, dumbass, have fun. I'm trying, Punchline. They then have to fight zombies with plants on them. Is this the Plants vs. Zombies reference? Punchline takes off with the elite tier subs, and all of this impresses them. For some reason, they're into it. So the setup for the final issue is all the ladies getting ready to fight some zombies with plants on their heads. The shark? It got a little jumped. Not all the way, just slightly. The issue started out quite well. It was bringing everything together. There were some stakes with the dehydration chamber and being taunted with the drinks. It was sadistic, and it also answered the question of why Punchline didn't just inject them right away. That could have been asked at the end of last issue. Same with White Rabbit breaking the control. That was an interesting element. But it loses all focus once Dumb Bunny arrives, and not just because of the confusion around powers and who is which, but it pushes the story away from being the contained outing of the Sirens having to stop this game. maybe free some people, definitely take down Punchline. This is only 4 issues. There's only so much space. Again, could be. Maybe it'll all come together. I mean, nice and tight. However, by the end of this issue, it just becomes one long comedic, in theory, action set piece. It's made more stark by all the potential this story has, and instead it's foregoing most substance, which could still be fun, for a more this is random and hence humorous tone by issue's end. The more concise and still funny story is within reach too. There were some really decent beats in the jail cell. But now, come with me on just a little bit of a journey. Let's increase the stakes just a little bit and not change too much. In fact, let's work with what's there. Punchline injects everybody in the cell. Now, if one wants to, one could play with Ivy's immunity, and then most likely Harley's, because in most continuities, Ivy passes that along to Harley. And now you can still have Punchline increase the heat. There's still a reason for her to do that. People are sweating it out, but then you can also have people who are fighting off the control, although Punchline need not be aware of that. Catwoman can be out of commission and seen to be fighting it, because she didn't do too much in the cell aside from try and pull at the bars anyway. Now we can have a line from somebody, Punchline, a nasty boy, about them taking Jaina, maybe even a panel witnessing her being taken, just some connective tissue, but if we can't have those panels, at least somebody talking about it. This can clearly indicate whether Jaina is or is not the one serving drinks. Now there's also tension. The girls could be sweating, they could see Catwoman struggling, they're not entirely sure what's going to happen, but now also there's some tension for Punchline. Things aren't going exactly the way she wanted them to. You could also have had her hoping that she could inject all the Sirens and use them in the game, so there's just multiple layers of frustration that can be added there. This way also she hasn't anticipated everything and will throw her off her stride. She's been ahead of them the whole mini. Now with the end in sight would be the time for them to get a leg up on her. Dumb Bunny can still arrive, but perhaps instead of just, oh, I can clone myself, it could tie in with the nanotech. The nanotech altering her, changing her, perhaps again not working exactly like how Punchline envisioned. Just tiny things, and one can still end up at the same place. But all of that would also increase the Siren's urge to get Punchline, which should already be more there. She's really messing with them. There should be some more angry stakes. Feelings outside of humor doesn't mean the humor needs to be eradicated. It's more about balance. But this series, and especially clear in this issue, is that this book is more of a humor first, everything else second kind of outing, which is gonna work for some. And there are some good things about this book and series. Again, the Punchline stuff is the strongest. Some of the jokes are funny, or at least well constructed. Lolly in this issue once more puts in some nice character cues, like when they're breaking out and the sun hits Pam and she's clearly basking in it like a plant. The idea of the end fight is very fun and is most likely gonna be fun to witness in the final issue. On the whole, this issue is the same as the others, but has that one very confusing moment, which does place it a bit below, if it's something that one notices, which I'm not sure if everybody will. Let me know. The humor continues to dominate, and the most substance and time, and hence what feels like it has the most depth, has been going to Punchline, furthering the feeling that this is her series and not the Sirens, which for some will rankle, especially because it's their name on the title. However, if like me, you're one of the dozen Punchline fans, rejoice! So we're 3 issues deep now. How are you feeling? Are you liking it? Are you not liking it? Are you just along for the ride with me? Tell me all your thoughts and feelings. Did you have a similar reaction to Dumb Bunny? I want to know. I'm really enjoying covering this. I'm looking forward to the last issue. Really looking forward to see if I can get a high ponytail, go full Punchline. Your thoughts, I want to hear them. I know you have a lot of them. Please put them down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking the time to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.